Chapter 20. Elsa leaned closer to the young boy and nodded. It was definitely her father. She turned her focus to the girl holding him. There was something special about her, too. This girl, she said. She's saving him, Olaf said. She's Northuldra, Kristoff added, recognizing she wasn't dressed in typical Arendelian clothing. Suddenly, a rearing sound swished from the trees closest to them. Olaf squealed and hid behind Anna. He reached into her satchel and pulled Iduna's scarf out far enough that he could wrap it over his head and shoulders, as it could conceal him from whatever was coming their way. "What's that?" Anna asked. "Olaf, get behind me," Elsa ordered. Loud bangs joined the rearing, creating a romantic beat. The noise filled the air, exhaling a volume and tempo. The bushes in front of them, next to the sculpture, rustled. Anna had enough. Since they entered the enchanted forest, their experience had been anything but enchanting. Stepping forward, she reached towards another ice sculpture and broke off the sword. "What are you doing with that?" Kristoff asked. As the whirring interceded, "I have no idea," Anna said. But then she made a decision. Holding the ice sword in front of her, she marched towards the bushes, and that had since stopped moving. With one swing, Anna cut the offensive bush down the middle. It was time to reveal whatever danger lurked within. Then she saw a group of people crouched low to the ground. Behind them stood a group of reindeer. "Are they Northuldra?" Anna thought as she stared at their uniform clothes. Thump! Anna spun at the loud sound. More Northuldra dropped from the trees, each person swinging a round object from the trees. Each person was swinging around and made a whirring noise. "Lower your weapon," a young woman commanded. She was one of the Northuldra who dropped from the trees. With a raised staff, she moved towards Anna and her friends. The other Northuldra moved behind her. Swords slammed against shields. 5 newcomers appeared, looking different from the Northuldra, their swords at the ready. "And you lower yours," the soldier in charge commanded the Northuldra. He stood strong in a human form that showed the wear and tear of many years, but it still clearly an Arendelian uniform. "Looked familiar to Anna. Arendelian soldiers?" Anna asked her friends, wondering if it was possible. She had always assumed that when the mist had closed around the forest, only people who had been trapped within been their enemies. The Northuldra, an older woman, seemed to come from nowhere just then. She stood at the soldier's side holding a staff. The soldier closed his eyes briefly, then opened them again and stared straight ahead. "Threaten my people again, Lieutenant?" the woman said. He reared her like an old neighbor he had been squabbling with for years. "Invading my down space again, Yelena?" he responded. The two continued to bicker like old enemies or friends. It was hard to tell which. "Why does that soldier look so familiar?" Anna wondered aloud. She stared at the Arendelian soldier in charge and stepped forward with the ice sword still in her hand. A soldier noticed Anna moving toward them and shouted, "Look out, Lieutenant!" The lieutenant spun his shield, tried to knock Yelena's staff away from his side, but Yelena countered his move. "Get the sword," he ordered his soldiers. They charged Elsa, Anna, Olaf, Kristoff, and Sven. The Northuldra were close behind. Elsa blasted her power at the ground, created a slick, glassy coating around her group. The soldiers and the Northuldra slipped and slid until they fell onto their backs and rear ends. The lieutenant crashed next to Yelena. "That was magic," he said in shock. "Did you see that?" "Of course I saw it," she replied. She hid in her surprise. Elsa and her friends stared at the two groups now sprawled on the ground. Anna leaned to her sister. "You chose a nice call to greeting," she said. They've been trapped in here this whole time, Kristoff whispered in disbelief. What do we do now? Elsa whispered back.